Minor charged with murder. Denevuto Luis, called Delon, a 24-year-old miner from Bamboo Creek Village, North Pacaraimás, Region No. 8, has been charged with the murder of 23-year-old Ricky Edwin, a farmer from the same village. Luis appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court via Zoom to answer the charge. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge, and bail was denied. He has been remanded to prison. The matter is adjourned to August 26, 2025. Speedboat captain arrested after allegedly abusing wife. Newsroom reports. Orwin Rankin, a speedboat operator, was arrested Tuesday morning after allegedly beating his wife. Police headquarters confirmed that the Laguan resident is currently in custody and assisting with the ongoing investigation. In a Facebook post, Sharmila Dhunraj shared a photo of her daughter, Selena, showing her bloodied face. Sharmila, who resides overseas, pleaded for assistance, stating she could not help her daughter immediately. Police ranks in Region 3 intervened in the matter following the report. 18-year-old Nabaklis resident charged for break-and-enter and larceny. Tahed Jacobs, an 18-year-old laborer from Lot 42, Ross Street, Nabaklis Village, East Coast, Demerara, was arrested on May 16, 2025 and charged today, May 20, 2025, by a rank from the Cove and John Police Station with the offense of break-and-enter and larceny, contrary to Section 229A of the Criminal Law Offences Act, Chapter 801. Jacobs is accused of committing the offense against Jeremy Ramsdam at Golden Grove North, East Coast, Demerara. At approximately 9:45 HRS today, the accused appeared at the Cove and John Magistrates Court before Her Worship Miss O. Schmidt. The charge was read to him, and he entered a not guilty plea. He was placed on self-bail. The matter was adjourned to June 30, 2025. Dr. Todd demands public apology from GPF over alleged defamation. Kaider News reports. Attorney Dr. Dexter Todd is seeking a public apology from the Guyana Police Force, GPF, accusing its corporate communications unit of deliberately misrepresenting his statements and damaging his reputation. Through his law firm, Dexter Todd and Associates, a letter was issued on Sunday to Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken, demanding an immediate retraction and public apology. The firm alleges that the GPF has intentionally misrepresented Dr. Todd's statements and, in some cases, peddled pure lies. They further stated, they are unjustifiably attacking his character and integrity. This is malicious, negligent, disrespectful, and will not be tolerated. According to the letter, Hicken has 24 hours from receipt of the letter to retract the GPF's press release and issue a public apology, in the same manner in which that press release was published. Failure to comply will result in legal action for defamation, among other legal declarations and orders. The dispute stems from a GPF press release issued on Saturday, which responded to a statement made by Dr. Todd concerning the ongoing investigation into the death of Adriana Young. Dr. Todd, representing the Young family, recounted a meeting with the family and Canadian investigator Leonard McCaution, during which concerns were raised about the investigation. One key issue was that the father of the deceased, who was present at the hotel when the alarm was raised and later retrieved her body from the pool, had not been interviewed by investigators. In its response, the GPF accused Dr. Todd of misleading the public, asserting that their records show multiple attempts to contact Subrian Young, Adriana's father, to provide a statement. The GPF detailed these attempts, stating that they first approached Subrian Young on April 24, 2025, at the Doubleday Hotel, inviting him to provide a statement. Further attempts were made on May 1, 8, 9, and 16, including communication with Dr. Todd. In rebuttal, Dexter Todd and Associates claimed that the GPF's version was a misrepresentation, stating, "The press release is plagued with untruths, defamatory statements, and blatant misrepresentation of Dr. Todd's press release." The firm emphasized that Dr. Todd carefully chooses his words and disseminates only factual information discussed in the meeting. They argued that the GPF misrepresented Dr. Todd's remarks, particularly regarding the claim that Subrian Young had never been contacted by police, which they assert was not stated in Dr. Todd's release. The letter concluded with a warning to the police commissioner to treat the matter with urgency, indicating that no further warnings would be issued once the 24-hour period expires. Family outing ends tragically in jet ski accident at Splashman's Resort. News source Guyana reports. An East Coast Demerara family is in mourning after a tragic jet ski accident at Splashman's Resort on Sunday, which resulted in the death of 58-year-old Joseph Madio. Police reports indicate that Madio was at the resort with his wife, daughter, and other family members, having brought their own jet skis. It was reported that the daughter and a friend boarded one jet ski, while Madio boarded another. As they navigated the waterway, the two jet skis collided, causing Madio to hit his head and be thrown into the water. Family members quickly rushed to pull the injured man to safety, and he was transported to the Diamond Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Police noted several injuries on his head and face. A post-mortem examination will be conducted, and police investigators are currently probing the incident. Family outing ends tragically in jet ski accident at Splashman's Resort. News source Guyana reports. An East Coast Demerara family is in mourning after a tragic jet ski accident at Splashman's Resort on Sunday, which resulted in the death of 58-year-old Joseph Madio. Police reports indicate that Madio was at the resort with his wife, daughter, and other family members, having brought their own jet skis. It was reported that the daughter and a friend boarded one jet ski, while Madio boarded another. As they navigated the waterway, the two jet skis collided, causing Madio to hit his head and be thrown into the water. Family members quickly rushed to pull the injured man to safety, and he was transported to the Diamond Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Police noted several injuries on his head and face. A post-mortem examination will be conducted, and police investigators are currently probing the incident. West Ruinvelt teen on $150,000 bail for stealing gold chain. Kaider News reports. An 18-year-old laborer has been granted $150,000 bail for allegedly stealing a gold chain. Jaidia Singh of Lot 54 West Ruinvelt, Georgetown, appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor to face a larceny charge. Singh pleaded not guilty to the charge, which states that on May 13, 2025 on Water Lily Street, West Ruinvelt, he allegedly stole a gold chain from Rihanna Agard, valued at $1.8 million. Represented by attorney-at-law Adrian Thompson, Singh's lawyer requested bail, stating that his client maintains his innocence. The prosecution did not object to bail but requested that Singh report to the police station regularly. Bail was granted on the condition that Singh reports to the Ruinvelt police station on the last Monday of every month. The matter has been adjourned to June 16, 2025. U.S. Ready to support GDF at Guyana's border with Venezuela, Ambassador. Newsroom reports. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Nicole Theriault, has expressed her country's readiness to assist in crime-fighting efforts along the border shared with Venezuela. This statement follows recent attacks on patrol ranks of the Guyana Defense Force, GDF, on 3 separate occasions. At the 33rd Annual General Meeting of the Private Sector Commission, PSC, on Tuesday, Theriault delivered a strong message of support for Guyana's sovereignty and security. Venezuela has been in the news recently due to the Sindicato's acts of aggression against the GDF patrol in the Cuyuni. These are criminals engaging in criminal activities, and the United States stands ready to support the GDF in its efforts to eradicate this activity along Guyana's frontier and ensure the safety of its people, she stated. During a briefing last week, Guyana's Chief of Defense Staff, Brigadier Omar Khan, reported that the recent attacks were carried out by men dressed in civilian clothing using automatic weapons. He could not confirm whether the assailants were part of the Venezuelan military. Theriault also condemned Venezuela's provocative elections in Guyana's Essequibo region. Everyone should see the sham for what it is. It is saber-rattling from the Maduro regime. No amount of bluster changes the fact that the United States will always stand shoulder to shoulder with Guyana in support of its sovereignty and territorial integrity, she emphasized. She reiterated support for the International Court of Justice's measures, calling for Venezuela to halt its so-called elections in Essequibo on May 25, expressing disappointment over Venezuela's decision to proceed. Addressing concerns about Venezuela's aggression towards potential U.S. investors in Guyana, Theriault remarked, "At the end of the day, it is just bluster aimed at shoring up domestic support. It should not affect Guyana's investment climate or readiness to do business." Ambassador Theriault highlighted Guyana as a key regional partner and reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to promoting fair trade, regional stability, and energy security. Earlier on Tuesday, Brigadier Omar Khan urged Guyanese indigenous communities, especially those along the border with Venezuela, to share any relevant information with the army regarding Venezuela's attempts to organize the widely condemned election. Don't threaten each other, Ben tells indigenous leaders ahead of firearm license distribution. Newsroom reports. Over 250 firearm licenses will soon be issued, as promised at this year's National Tacheos Council (NTC) conference. Minister of Home Affairs Robeson Ben specified that the licenses will be granted for shotguns only, aimed at supporting crop and livestock protection in indigenous communities. He emphasized that these firearms must not be used to threaten fellow villagers. Make sure they are used for lawful activity, and ensure there are no threats among each other with these weapons. If that occurs, the licenses will be withdrawn. Minister Ben warned indigenous leaders as requests for firearm licenses surged following the president's announcement. Addressing concerns about responsible firearm use, Ben stressed the importance of environmental stewardship when hunting. We cannot expect the Tacheo to go hunting every day. Importantly, we don't want to issue licenses only to see wildlife populations decline. We must protect our natural heritage, he said. Ben called for stronger laws to safeguard wildlife, stating, "We need sufficient laws for the protection of species, ensuring that control is in place and the necessary advice is provided." President Dr. Irfan Ali announced the issuance of firearm licenses in response to requests for increased security support within indigenous communities. A special team was present at the conference to facilitate the application process. Ben acknowledged challenges raised by community leaders, particularly from areas like Wakapoa, and pledged to assess the need for police outposts in various locations. He also highlighted the expansion of community policing groups, CPGs, and the use of technology and intelligence to enhance national sovereignty and public safety. Development cannot be optimized without security. We must all work together to improve safety, ensure opportunities, and increase peace in Guyana, Ben concluded. Security officer remanded for possession of narcotic. Qatar News reports. A 31-year-old security officer has been remanded to prison for possession of narcotics. Ulrich Fingal, of Lot 134 South Better Hope, East Coast Demerara, ECD, appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor to answer a possession of narcotics charge. Fingal pleaded not guilty to the charge, which alleges that on May 16, 2025, at Space Gym's parking lot on Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, he had 3.810 kilograms kg of cannabis in his possession. The accused told the court he was unaware of the contents of the box he was carrying, claiming he was taking it for someone whose name he did not disclose. The prosecution objected to bail, stating that on the day in question, officers from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, CANU, acted on information that led them to Space Gym, where they found Fingal carrying a brown cardboard box. When approached by a CANU officer, Fingal dropped the box. The officer identified himself and informed Fingal that he was acting on information regarding his possession of narcotics. Upon searching the box, officers discovered a quantity of leaves, seeds, and stems suspected to be cannabis, contained in 8 transparent plastic bags. Fingal was cautioned and arrested, then taken to CANU headquarters, where the narcotics were tested, weighed, labeled, sealed, and lodged. Fingal was represented by attorney Dexter Smart, who argued that his client was hired to escort someone carrying a large sum of money for a transaction. Smart stated that Fingal was instructed to make a payment and collect a package, and that he was intercepted by CANU while returning to the vehicle, which had left him at the location. The attorney emphasized that the box was closed when Fingal was approached and opened only by the CANU officer, who discovered the narcotics inside. Fingal maintained he was unaware of the box's contents. Smart requested reasonable bail, noting that Fingal is a father of 2 and has no one to care for his children. However, bail was denied, and the matter has been adjourned to June 16, 2025. Elections fraud trial resumes. Newsroom reports. The trial into the attempts to derail the 2020 general and regional elections resumed on Tuesday. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Sonia Parag, was one of 2 individuals questioned as the trial restarted. Parag discussed efforts to undermine the tabulation of ballots after polls closed, stating that she guarded the Statement of Polls, SOPs, in her possession while attempts were made to inflate figures using a spreadsheet to show that the APNU plus AFC had secured more votes. At the time of the elections, Parag was a candidate for the PPP/C, and was responsible for comparing figures from SOPs during the tabulation and verification of votes in Region 4, conducted at the Ashman's building in Georgetown. During the proceedings, Parag noted that officials from the Guyana Elections Commission (GECOM), including Micelle Miller, attempted to inflate the numbers to favor the APNU plus AFC. I recalled standing up and saying that the numbers being called do not match my SOP. They were adding for APNU and deducting for PPP. I objected to every single box from 4001 to 4021. The numbers did not match my copies of the SOPs, she testified. Parag made these disclosures while on the witness stand at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where Chief Magistrate AG Faith McGusty is presiding. She detailed discrepancies in the numbers during the verification and tabulation process and described the chaos that ensued, including a false declaration made by Region 4 returning officer Claremont Mingo. While the turmoil unfolded, Parag stated, "I remained with my SOPs because I couldn't just leave them. The police said there was a bomb scare in the building, but I wasn't moving because I didn't believe there was a bomb scare." The tabulation process eventually continued, albeit slowly, as GECOM staff, including Miller, expressed fatigue and wanted to halt the process. After objections were raised, staff were replaced, but the new team also grew tired. There was a lot of commotion outside. You could hear noises. That evening, the process was stopped, Parag recounted. This stalling occurred on March 4, 2020. The following day, instead of resuming tabulation, attempts were made to evacuate the building, which Parag resisted. In the afternoon, she recalled Mingo making a declaration of votes cast in Region 4. "I stood up and said you cannot do this. The tabulation exercise for Region 4 was not completed," she said. Mingo's chaotic exit prompted an application for several injunctions before Chief Justice Roxanne George, one of which restrained Mingo from declaring results until the tabulation and verification were completed. On March 13, the tabulation process resumed at GECOM headquarters in Kingston, Georgetown, where Parag noted that votes were being quickly tabulated using a bedsheet. This led to continuous objections from her and other PPP/C representatives and observers. Due to poor visibility, she struggled to compare the displayed figures with her SOPs. This ultimately led to a recount process, which she participated in for 33 days, confirming that the PPP/C had the majority of votes in the 2020 elections. Rosalinda Rasool, an election observer with the American Chamber of Commerce in Guyana, AMCOM, also testified on Tuesday. 9 individuals are currently charged with conspiring to manipulate the election results in favor of the APNU plus AFC, including former Government Minister Volda Lawrence, former Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, former Region 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo, and former Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers. The controversy surrounding the March 2020 elections delayed the results for 5 months, with PPP candidate Irfan Ali sworn in as president in August 2020. The trial continues on Wednesday, although Parag has national duties requiring her attention, so another witness is expected to testify.